Hello, Primary 6. Greetings to everyone. Hope you are doing well there. Welcome to our virtual lessons. This is our classroom now, just because of this pandemic. But as the term ended, we had looked at tailoring, we had looked at baking. Now with our virtual lessons, we shall have to look at under occupations, keeping animals. Class, aren't you excited about that topic or the subtopic? We have to know the animals we keep home and those that are some of those that we find it can be in the bush, it could be in the zoos. Well, under this topic, what we have to know: one, how to care for those animals and why should we care them, and other things, the things we do that really put their lives in danger. They are like human beings. They also need care as we do. So, under this topic, I want you to be attentive. You get a book, a pen, and all that you may need in this lesson. Please, for the siblings, the friends who are disturbing you, tell them to get away for some time. They will come back when the lesson is done. On the other hand, please, let's be attentive. Let's leave whatever that can distract us from the business that has brought us here. Anything that can distract us from learning should be kept away. As I've told you, today we are looking at keeping animals, and we are going to begin with the vocabulary. As we look at vocabulary, under this topic, our first vocabulary is animal. Class, if I may ask, what is an animal? We are saying keeping animals, but what is an animal? I know in science, you say human beings are animals. But when it comes to this lesson, or when it comes to English, we can refer to animals as any creature that is not a bird, it is not a fish, not a reptile like a snake, not an insect, or a human being. So if something we are talking about in this lesson is not a bird, not a reptile, not a fish, neither a human being. So we are talking about the goats, the sheep, the cattle in general. So that's what we are going to discuss in this subtopic. So an animal, you can define an animal as any creature that is not a bird, not a fish, not a reptile, not an insect, or a human being. That is an animal. So class, can you mention some of the animals we know? So if good, we have the goats, we have the dogs, what else? Yes, cows, the cats. What we have to know as we talk about animals, these animals, some are domestic and others are wild. Those that are wild are not found at home. Those that are domestic are the only one we find at home. So those we even find at home are also categorized. Some are kept for meat, others are kept for pleasure. Those we keep for pleasure, like the cat, we don't eat a cat. We don't eat dogs. They're either kept for a purpose they serve or for pleasure. Some people just want to have them, just want to look at them. Those we keep for pleasure class, you know, they are known as pets. They are known as pets. So petty animals, those are animals that are kept for pleasure. People don't eat them. We hardly sell them for money, but people keep them because they want to have them. They want to look at them. But don't forget that the pets can at times be of importance in a home. Take an example, cat. Class, does any one of you have rats in the bedroom? So if you have, yes, a cat can be important. So a cat eats the rats. Dogs. Do you have people that you come at home, you don't want them? Well, it chases them. So a dog guards home. So that is the pets. The pets. Pets can be important, but I've told you the major reason as to why people keep them is just for pleasure. 2, we have animal husbandry. Everyone say animal husbandry. Animal husbandry. This is farming that involves keeping animals for food. Any farming, one can say, teacher, can we have farming at the same time talking about animals? Yes. What is farming? Growing of crops and rearing of animals. So when you rear animals, you keep animals for maybe food and maybe to get money. That is animal husbandry. Farming that involves keeping animals for food. 2, we have herdsman. Everyone say herdsman. Herdsman. Those who have animals home. Herdsman can be a person who looks after cattle. And when we say cattle, we have generalized the goats, the sheep, and the cows. They form what we call cattle. Herdsman, but we can specifically talk about cows, cattle. A person who looks after cattle is a herdsman. When they are more than one, we can say herdsmen. That is the plural form. Herdsmen. Okay. Now, we have shepherd. Class shepherd. Shepherd. Can anyone tell us who a shepherd is? Can anyone tell us who a shepherd is? Well, good. A shepherd is a person whose job is to take care of sheep. Anyone who takes care of sheep, you take them to graze. Grazing means taking animals to eat grass. When do you take them to eat grass? When you take a sheep to eat grass, and it is your job. Therefore, you are a shepherd. A shepherd is a person whose job is to take care of sheep. Anyone who takes care of sheep is a shepherd. So, do we have anyone in class who takes a sheep during holidays for grazing? You take them to grazing. Then, during that time, you are a shepherd. So, a shepherd is a person whose job, this one is paid or earns a living just because he takes a sheep to graze. And graze means to eat grass. You take them to eat grass. A person whose job is to take care of sheep is a shepherd. And now, a lady, this time, it is not so common, but what you have to know, a lady, tomorrow, they can say, give the opposite of shepherd. Shepherd, most of the times we take him to be a man. Then when it comes to shepherdess, everyone say shepherdess. Shepherdess is a woman. A woman who takes care of sheep is a shepherdess. A man who takes care of sheep is a shepherd. But you can generalize and say a person who takes care of sheep is a shepherd. Then a woman, specifically a woman, is a shepherdess. Class, let's say shepherdess. Shepherdess. So shepherd is a person who takes care of sheep, or a person whose job is to take care of sheep. Then shepherdess is a woman who takes care of sheep. So tomorrow they should not bring it, give the opposite of shepherd and say now we have never learned that. So you can simply say shepherdess. All together, class? Good. Let's look at ways we can care for these animals. How can we care for these animals? Yes, the domestic. How can we care them? One, we dip them. We have to dip. And what is to dip? I know you learned this in science in primary 5. Dipping. What is to dip? To dip is to put animals into a bath of liquid containing chemicals in order to kill external parasites like ticks. So there is a trench. They build, it's like a trench. Under that trench, water cannot move. There is water mixed with the chemicals. Which chemicals? Chemicals that kill external parasites on animals. Then the animals are pushed to pass through that bath with the liquids containing chemicals in order to kill external parasites. So dip is to put animals into a bath of liquid containing chemicals in order to kill external parasites. Can you give me some of the parasites you know? Well, the known ticks. I'll say ticks are some of the external parasites that are killed during dipping. We can look at another way we can care for these animals. One, we have seen dipping animals. Two, we have to vaccinate them. Animals, they are like human beings. They fall sick. They are times weak. But we have to care them. We have to treat them when they are sick. So we have vaccinate. I know in the villages where you are, in the centers where you are, in the towns, anywhere you're living, you see people are going to get COVID-19 jab. They are being vaccinated against COVID-19. They don't want them to die. So even animals, when they are sick, or even when there is a disease, for example, foot and mouth disease, animals can be vaccinated to protect them against that. So vaccinate, what is to vaccinate? Is to give an animal a vaccine by injecting it to protect it against a disease. You inject that animal to protect it against a certain disease. So like these animals, the cows, foot and mouth that affects them. We have seen the pigs, the swine fever. We have rabbits that are affected by colds. So we have to vaccinate these animals against to protect them against some diseases. So vaccinate is to give an animal a vaccine by injecting it to protect it against a disease. A class, we have another, to an extent, it can be a good practice. Scientifically, it is a good practice. In another way of caring for these animals. And to animal defenders, animal rights defenders, it is a very bad practice, as we are going to see in the explanation. So everyone said dog. Dog is an act of cutting short an animal's tail. Class, can you tell me some of the animals that are docked? Yes, we have sheep. We have cows. Do we dock goats? Okay, so these animals, their tails are cut short for scientific reasons. Who can tell us why do we dock animals? Thank you so much. We dock animals, some of them to have fats spread For example, sheep, equal distribution of fats. You find the sheep has a very big tail, but when you dock it, the fats that would have been in the tail are spread, go to other parts. That is a scientific reason. Two, to have animals that are clean. Some animals have problems when they are defecating. They tend to have the dung around their tails. It keeps there. So when you dock them, you're going to have them clean. So scientific reason is docking is good, is a good practice. But to animal rights defenders, they say docking hurts them, is another way of torturing animals. So everyone said dock. Dock is the act of cutting short an animal's tail. Okay, we have tether. We have to take these animals to graze. We have to take them to eat grass. Tether is to use a rope. You tie any animal, let it be a goat, you tie it on that post, on maybe a tree, such that it cannot move far from that place. Tether is to tie an animal to a post so that it cannot move very far. You tie it such that it cannot go far from that place. It feeds within a limited area. So if you don't want it to exceed that place, please tie the rope depending on the area of grazing. So you want it to feed within the limited area, please tether it. But if you leave it free range, it will go even in places you will never wish it to go. So tether is to tie an animal to a post so that it cannot move very far. That is to tether. We use a rope. You either tie it in the by horns or around the neck or on the legs, one of its legs, such that it eats within the limited area. We have welfare. When we talk of welfare, we are referring to the general health, the happiness, and the safety of an animal or a person. Animals need good welfare. Animals need care like human beings. We need care. So animals do. So the general health, how will they have good health? By doing what we have seen above, by treating them when they are sick, by vaccinating them, dipping them to kill external parasites. So welfare, when we talk of animals' welfare or welfare, we are referring to the general health, happiness, and safety of these animals. Then, who ensures that we have veterinary? Everyone say veterinary. Class, veterinary. Veterinary means caring for the health of animals. Veterinary is connected to care for the health of animals. That is the veterinary. If you want to learn ways we can care for animals, what do we need to care for animals, you take a veterinary as a course. So caring for the health of animals, that is veterinary. Then a person who is trained to care and treat sick animals is a veterinarian. Everyone say veterinarian. Class, veterinarian. Who is a veterinarian? A veterinarian is a person who is trained to care and treat sick animals. A person trained, you take a veterinary as a course. You learn caring for the health of animals. So that means when they fall sick, you can treat them. You know what they need to live a healthy life. As you have seen, animals are like people. They have rights. They need good care. If you want to get good things from them, you want to get meat, you want to get good milk, you have to care for these animals. animals. So veterinarian is a person who is trained to care and treat sick animals. At times they abbreviate veterinarian as vet. So when someone says my dad is a vet, get to know that one whose daddy is a veterinarian. What does he do, or what do? They treat and care sick animals. Even those that are not sick, they need care. So a veterinarian is a person trained to care and treat animals. Well, let's look at something. Class, say quarantine. So what is quarantine? Class, what is quarantine? You heard of recent, during the first lockdown, quarantine was the order of the day. Everyone was saying quarantine. But what does it mean? Quarantine is a period when an animal that has or may have a disease is kept away from others in order to prevent the disease from spreading. So for example, if in Masaka they say there is an outbreak of foot and mouth disease, you know it affects animals, especially cows. So if cattle is affected, the government may choose through the district veterinary officers, they may choose to put a quarantine on Masaka, such that no animal can be transported from Masaka to other places. So quarantine, this is a period. For example, animals, we say in Masaka, the whole of Masaka is a district, let's say a district, the whole of Masaka, all animals are sick of a certain disease. Let's say, as we have already said, foot and mouth disease. There is an outbreak. So the government can choose to put a quarantine such that nobody can buy any animals from Masaka to other places. Why is that done? Just to prevent the disease from spreading to other areas where it may not be. For example, foot and mouth disease is in Masaka. If you put a quarantine in Masaka, no animal can be transported from Masaka to other areas. The disease is likely to be contained within Masaka until it is cured, until the medicine or treatment is found. Other than selling diseased animals to other places, and other animals will get affected too. Animals that are not in that area, they are likely to get affected. So quarantine is a period of time when an animal that has or may have a disease is kept away from others in order to prevent the disease from spreading. Okay, we have party. Class, say party. Oh, this one is a common practice at home. I know many of you have ever done this. What is to party? Part is to touch something gently several times with your hands, especially as a sign of affection. You have got dogs home. Class, have you ever seen anyone touching them in the neck, everywhere, on its skin, in the ears? That is parting. As long as you touch it gently, they feel very good when you parting them. As you part them, they feel very good. There is this short animal, so you know it, of the one that the Muslims don't want to mention, the pig. As you part it, even sleeps, even the legs go wide, so they feel very good as you part them. So what is to part? Part is to touch something, let's say to touch an animal gently several times with your hands, especially as a sign of affection, to show the connection, to show that you love them. So you part them, you may ensure the ticks are removed during parting. They feel you such that tomorrow, if you want to communicate to them, you want to do something to them, they don't run. Parting brings connection between the owner and the animal. So parting as a verb, it doubles the last consonant. That is double T. Parting, and even in past, that is parted. Then we have got slaughter. Some of you assume slaughter like it is no. Slaughtering is not one of the practices that tortures animals. No. When you slaughter an animal, you have not tortured it. Why? Because it will not feel pain for longer. We are supposed to slaughter these animals with the sharp objects, sharp knives. You are slaughtering a goat, don't use a blunt knife, because it is going to feel pain for longer, and which is bad. So as you slaughter, as you kill these animals for food, as you kill these animals for meat, let's use sharp objects. And why do we slaughter animals? We slaughter them for food. Don't slaughter something you cannot eat. Don't kill. The other way you make something die, you make an animal die and you're not going to eat it, that is not slaughter. Slaughter must be you kill something and you want to eat it. So what is to slaughter? To slaughter is to kill an animal for food or for meat. You want to get its meat, that is to slaughter. Other kinds that are not for food, that is to kill, and that is torturing. Are we together? So a place where we slaughter these animals from is an abattoir. Everyone say abattoir. Class, abattoir. Spell me abattoir. A-B-A-T-T-O-I-R. Abattoir. A-B-A-T-T-O-I-R. Abattoir. Abattoir is a place where animals are slaughtered. Not one animal. This one is a gazetted area by the government where animals can be communally slaughtered. Animals are slaughtered. So, don't slaughter one goat from behind your house and say we have an abattoir. No. An abattoir must be a gazetted area by the government. It has to have all the facilities. It must have a doctor, a veterinarian, as we saw. A veterinarian, of course, has to first check these animals whether they are healthy for people to eat. Of course, you have to have the latrines, tunnels that can take blood. The area should be a good place. So an abattoir is an area or a place where animals are slaughtered. Not one, not two. You might find in the whole of Masaka there is only one abattoir. Have you ever bought meat with a stamp? Yes. Then that means the doctor checked it before and after it had been slaughtered. That animal, after it had been slaughtered, the veterinarian checked it to ensure that people don't slaughter animals that have diseases. All together. So an abattoir is a place where animals are slaughtered. All together, class? Good. I think we have discussed enough, and it is, I think, prudent for me to give you an activity. I think this activity is going to be simple, only that what I request you, what I urge you to do, ensure you write this work neatly. Do not cross. If you want to have work well written, first chase away crossing. Do not cross. So Activity part A says fill in the blank spaces with the most suitable word. Okay, there are 5 numbers. Read them, understand, and then answer. Number 1, a dash treats animals. They want a person who treats animals. Number 2, some people are kind to animals, but others are dash. If some are kind, what about others? Answer that. Number 3, pig is to grunt as sheep is to dash. So a pig grunts. A sound made by a pig is to grunt. What of that of a sheep? That's what they want you to answer. Number 4, dogs and cats are kept at home as dash. Why do we keep them? How are they kept? They are kept as what? And then number 5, a goat is an example of a domestic dash. That is part A. Then part B, we have rewrite giving a word for the underlined group of words in these sentences. So give a word to mean the same as these words that are underlined in these sentences. Number 6, my brother is a person who is trained to care and treat animals. Underlined words, person who is trained to care and treat animals. Number 7, the person who looks after cattle has been arrested. Underlined words, person who looks after cattle. So write the sentence again as you give a word to mean those words that are underlined. Number 8, the cows were eating grass near the road. Eating grass, give one word. Rewrite giving a word to mean eating grass. And number 9, the place where animals are slaughtered should be kept clean. Place where animals are slaughtered. Give one word. As you rewrite, give a word to mean those words that are underlined. Then lastly, my sheep's tail was cut short. Cut short. Give one word. As you rewrite, give a word to mean the same as cut short. Class, thank you for being a wonderful one. I've really enjoyed. Hope you have enjoyed it too. Before I say nice time to everyone, allow me re-echo this. Class, let's ensure we play this lesson several times, and then when it comes to answering, let's read, internalize the work before answering, and then let's ensure we have a network. With that, ensure you send work for marking on the WhatsApp number that is just on the screen. I'll get back to you soon. And with that, allow me say nice day to everyone.